Hey everyone, Luke here, and sorry I screwed up because last week when I was doing the whole rant on Taiju, I remembered when I was doing the editing for the review itself that Taiju returned with the computer. So hence why you saw the whole he came back with the computer, you idiot, and to ignore it that I was just being an idiot. I apologize for that. It was that rant was uncalled for, and yeah, that's all I'd say on that matter. And I know this review is a little bit delayed, but there was a big live stream last yesterday with Control Chaos, so I was resting for the day, getting my energy back together. But now, let's talk about chapter 218. Okay, so like I said, it's chapter 218 titled WWW. Really, Senko? We're not getting a .senkunet.co.uk. You know, it's the World Wide Web, so I guess that makes sense. But anyway, the chapter starts off with them basically reiterating what they need to do to actually build the spaceship to get to the moon. Oh, by the way, the wiki now has actually confirmed that this is the moon mission arc. They've actually settled on a name. Although I did say to them that if this goes on for actually preparing to go to the moon goes on for longer than Treasure Island, then maybe it might be best to actually just change this part of the story to the moon preparation arc, and then when they're blasting off to the moon, call that the moon mission arc. But hey, we'll see how long this part of the story, actually building the spaceship, actually goes. But anyway, they say that there will be a few million components, and so this is why they'll be building the internet to build those parts with the help of engineers from around the world. And based on what we saw in this chapter, and based on the information I got from the wiki, it does seem like that whole debate me and Polygens were having with what was Ryusui going around the world and reviving people off screen. That was pretty much what was happening, and yeah, I am a bit disappointed in that. Like, I would have loved it if we actually got like, maybe not have like a bunch of like about 20 chapters of Ryusui doing that, but just maybe about 4 or 5 of them just doing that, going around to different places and just meeting these people and find out what they are, who they are, what the culture is. And this is a problem that's actually going to come up in this chapter when we get to it. But anyway, Taiju being Taiju goes, the internet, that's the same thing I use on my smart. Taiju, you and your smartphones, get over it already. But yeah, I love the fact that Taiju is so much of a knucklehead that he's like, oh yeah, the internet, it's the thing. Like, he doesn't kind of grasp in this situation how important the internet is in our day and age. Because without the internet, we wouldn't be able to do these videos and get them on YouTube. But anyway, Senku says, yep, in terms of the major groundwork for our trip to the moon, this is the biggest crafting project and the final one. Now, this line was a little bit confusing for us, so, like, is he talking about the internet, or is he just talking about, like, it's the last major component of needing to actually get everything together for the spaceship? So that was something we were debating on when we were talking about the chapter. And that's something that we might actually have to wait and see if we're going to get more information on that. But anyway, funny line here from Get Well, it's funny to me, and you'll see why, is that he mentions Twitter and the rest of social media made use of the internet. We used it consecutively and basically took it for granted. Yeah, we take it for granted all the time. It is because the internet back in the 1960s was just a baby basically being used what it's being used in this chapter, and the fact that it's now part of the global elite, the global economy, for lack of a better word, and the fact that we're taking that for granted. It's nice that the characters actually acknowledge, like, oh yeah, all this stuff that we're recreating in Dr. Stone, yeah, this is stuff that we kind of take for granted, like with the glasses and everything, and also the sulfur drugs, like that. that we take for granted of just how complicated that is until we actually saw how insane it was to actually make that in Dr. Stone. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, well, it is important that again does bring that up because it was Twitter that was basically used to like determine where the petrification light originally came from because that's what Byakuya used. But yeah, please don't bring back social media. Like, I know that's hypocritical of me to say considering I use it, but yeah, considering the amounts of toxicity that's on social media, yeah, best leave that to the side for, yeah, maybe another 200 years. And of course, Gen being Gen has one very simple basic question. How do you make the internet? And in traditional Dr. Stone fashion, it's something that we would never expect with Taku Tea. Now, I've never had Taku Tea before, so I can't give my opinion on what this actually tastes like. But yeah, everyone's reaction pretty much sums it up here. It's like, ah, yeah, right, Taku Tea, yeah, tea, yeah, it's health properties. What? That's basically pretty much when they were building the tank, and Senko says, "Oh yeah, we're going to make it out of paper or kami," as the Japanese phrase for it goes. And Gen was like, "Oh yeah, kami, yeah, paper. That's nice. That's nice. That thing that we write on, that could be what?" Yeah, that's pretty much the reactions here, and gotta give props to Chelsea. Best reaction out of all of them. Uh, um, so, and of course, and again, Taiju being Taiju thinks that they're just going to drink it up and then they'll have the internet back. And Senku's like, Taiju, do you even listen to yourself half the time? But anyway, this is where we get the title page as it shows just how insanely reconstructed Ishigami Village actually is, even after the Second Worldwide Petrification, just how they've got everything back up and running to an insane degree. Before we cut to Kohaku and Taiju obviously getting the Touchy Tea by going to somewhere where oysters are. And this is pretty interesting because this is the first time that it's only been Kohaku and Taiju. At least that's what I'm getting at here. Like, this is the first time where it's just been those two together in a panel without any other characters around. So pretty interesting that they're the ones actually being the ones to team up here, as opposed to it being someone like Fran and Kohaku. But hey ho, we cut over to, speaking of Fran, we cut over to her actually making some tea as Ryusui is just relaxing in his chair, and Kohaku and some people that were revived off screen. Like, again with the reviving off screen, like, Inagaki, I love you, but you gotta give more to these characters that are being revived, because I'd like to know more about them. And yeah, we're gonna get to it. Eventually. But Chelsea goes, Yokomani, the source of Touchy Tea, is one freakishly hardy tree. Pesky buds can't hurt it all, and it's been surviving since the day of the dinosaurs. So pretty interesting fact that we actually got there. Like, this tea that's being used to pilot the internet essentially has been around since the time of the dinosaurs. Pretty interesting fact that I didn't know about. So well done, Chelsea, for giving us some geography is everything, essentially, to borrow a phrase from Tekken 101 there. They go on to explain that this that the Yokomai is one of the tree fruits or something, as it seems that Chrome. Okay, so Chrome is actually saying this because it says bad tree, which is obviously Chrome's catchphrase. So he said, so he's asking a question here. So I was looking at the panel and trying to decipher what he's saying, but no, he's actually asking a question. He goes on and says, "Is this one of the bad trees, fruits, or something?" As he pulls it apart to sort of realise that, oh wait a second, the stretchy stuff inside, it's kind of like spider web, which could be the reason why this is actually being used for the World Wide Web, because literally the thing that's in the thing that's in the leaves is spider web. If that's the reason why it is, that is one hell of a connection, and I've got to give praise to whoever came up with that, whoever came up with the idea of like taking Touchy Tea leaves, taking out the webbing part and using that to create the World Wide Web. But yeah, Senko confirms that's what they're there for, and the tea was just a bonus, which yeah, makes sense. I mean, you're going around, you're reviving people, you're getting all of these components to get. It's nice to sit back and have a cup of tea sometimes. And continuing on, Senko explains that it's called Ekemono elastomer, which are names that I have very hard time pronouncing sometimes. Me and my dyslexia. But anyway, he goes on to say it's a polymer that's the cousin to rubber. It's extra hard and super sturdy since it stands up to water and electricity. While it was used to make stuff like golf balls and 3D flammets. Is that the reason why we always see golf balls going into the drink in golf matches? Because of this stuff that they're made out of? Possibly, I don't know. And this is where Taiju again is getting confused by saying that he thought that this is where they were making the internet here, and again as well as adding into this conversation by saying those powerful sticky webs turn into the World Wide Web, but how exactly? Again, emphasizing the fact that of what I said there, of what I said just before, of the fact that these sticky webs, like, it was probably genius of someone to think like, oh, these sticky webs are going to be connecting everyone, kind of like a spider web all around the world. We'll just call it the World Wide Web. Gotta give them props on that. But this is where we get a really like eureka moment from Chrome as he says, hang on, it stands up to water and electricity. Bad, no thinking away, we're dropping cords down into the oceans, right, to link up the entire world. And Senku is like, well done, Chrome. Like, he's giving that face of like, yeah, Chrome, you figured it out, you're getting much, much better. But also, it seems like, I think Senku's getting a little bit worried, like, oh my god, Chrome is catching up to me so much, like, eventually he's going to find out something that even I don't know, or even I didn't think about at all. Because Senku did have the possibility of the two-way spaceship, but he kind of like chucked that to the side. But he's giving that look of like, yeah, Chrome, he's going to surpass me at one point. But nice that Chrome's character is like coming into the forefront of like figuring out stuff without actually Senko actually having to tell him at this point. And again, showcasing the fact that anyone from any walk of life can learn from science and can do science. It's not given up to the masses. But yeah, Chrome figured out that they're dropping the cores into the ocean, where as we see the Yukima elastomer is made from steel, nickel is made from steel, nickel, chrome alloy, and copper web. Copper wire. Oh, by the way, something else I've forgotten to mention in the last chapter. We're going to get Google Chrome back because Chrome is here. That is all I've forgotten to mention about the last chapter, so let's just continue on. But of course, Ryusuke has to explain that connecting Japan to the United States all at once clearly isn't an option, as we see some of the Perseus ships. I guess we're going to call it like Perseus international travel now. But yeah, some of the Perseus ships that have been constructed are basically dropping the cores into the ocean left, right and centre. As he mentions that the relay point will be the island of eternal summer, Hawaii. So we'll go into Hawaii, we'll go into more places that we didn't get to go to on the initial map. Now, while I'm happy about this, that we're actually going back to other places, again, it does raise the issue of like doing a lot of this off screen rather than dedicating maybe one or two chapters to this to kind of like introduce characters that won't play a major role, right? Won't overshadow the main cast, but like just to acknowledge like they are there. But one thing I wanted to say here is that I was a complete idiot because I always assumed that Hawaii was a little bit more up north, like on the border of like sort of like off towards the border of Canada. But nope, apparently according to a map, and I'm just a complete idiot, it's smack bang in the middle of the west coast, in between the west coast of America and Japan itself. So my mistake on that front. And it seems like the way they're going about here, it's that they landed in, because it took them a week to cross the Atlantic Ocean from South Africa. From South America to Europe. It took them a week, so I'm guessing it took Ryusui a couple of days to get from Japan to Hawaii. As we see him and Fran bring some brewing some coffee, and they go, you had another motive for the pit stop in Hawaii. That's basically Fran saying this here, and Reeves was like going like, of course I did. I wanted some coffee. I wanted some Fran coffee, which is going to be rivaling Xenu Books. So we're gonna get. So it's gonna be like how in England we have Costa coffee and we have Starbucks coffee. It's gonna be those two rival chains going clashing, and we're gonna get Xenu Books. We're gonna put another store next to it, and we're gonna call it a Xenu Books, the store next to the Xenu Books. So now you won't have to go far to enjoy your Xenu Books with your Xenu Books in your Xenu Books. If anyone can get that reference, good on you, because that is a reference. That is a reference to something. If anyone can get that reference, I'll be amazed. I'll give you a clue. It's a spin-off of it's from a spin-off of a British sketch show. So if anyone can get that, now you won't have to go far to enjoy your senior books with your senior books in your senior books. But with the senior books, inside this senior books, we're gonna build a senior books in a senior books. I'm pretty much giving it away now, but I'm sure a lot of people watching this won't know where that's from. But again, the spin-off of a quite controversial British sketch show, and if anyone gets it, good on you. Anyway, we see some of the other countries that are being connected by the water cords to connect the internet, including Indonesia with Australia and Japan, as we see that everyone is sort of like getting ready to be connected. We see Senku at the Cell 9000. We see Nikki, Kinro, Yoga, Yuzuriya and Brody. Hey, some characters we haven't seen in a while. Wish they would have done more. And of course, someone in the Discord for Dr. Stone Wiki is going to be happy, because we've got Tsukasa in this chapter. Granted, he doesn't say anything, but we still got him along with Ginru and Maya, and another one of possibly Stanley's forces. As we see, there's no signal coming for Tsukasa and Ginru. Now, I like to imagine that because Maya is right behind him, he's like thinking like, please get the signal coming, because I don't want to hear Maya singing again, because you see him swaying it as well. It's just, I can imagine he's just playing, because you see Maya just closing her eyes and having her mouth open, like Gimmel's probably thinking like, Maya, don't sing. Whatever you do, do not sing. As we see a nice touch that the screens in America all have CNU's logo on it, because right here we have them right here. So yeah, nice little touch there. That's CNU. Even though he's left Corn City, he likes to establish who's the boss of Corn City still. Yeah, Yuzuriya may be temporarily in charge, but Corn City is still my city, and I want my brand on it as much as possible. Anyway, we eventually get everything up and running with the map in the background, symbolising the creation of the new world, which is a nice touch as we get internet acquired. Now, when they say internet, now I was a little bit disappointed in this chapter, because I was like, really? I thought this was going to be a few chapters before I actually got the internet, but no, one chapter. But then I realised, well, it's not really the internet as we know it today. It's more like just like having a Skype conversation. That's basically what it is. Like just a bare basic Skype conversation. As we see on the screens, we see Ginru, not Tsukasa. Not sure why it's not Tsukasa. Yuzuriya and a few more, which we assume that these are Sinu's colleagues that were refined, particularly the Einstein-looking guy and the lady. Now the lady. One second, I've got for you, matey, right here, so we will just pick it up. Now, the lady, we assume it's this character. It's that character right there. Just with her hair being black to symbolise her petrification scar, kind of in the same vein as Gen was with his scar. But yeah, the Einstein-looking guy is more than likely that guy right there. Now, this was something that thankfully was brought up that thankfully was brought up. I believe Party Jams did it. He'll probably correct me, but yeah, he mentioned that this was probably Sinu's colleagues, because I was gang ready to complain again before before that was actually brought up. So thank you for sparing me another round of like, who are these people? Have we met them before? Like, technically we have, because of the flashback. Now there's one character coming up which I will get to it. I will get to the yeah, I will get to it. Let's see. Oh, come on. Oh. Yeah, I've got it. So we'll come back to that in a minute. So yeah, it seems like they're all established, although there is one character. Oh no, it might be the guy. It might be the one that's behind the Einstein guy. Yeah, it does look like it. So we have the three colleagues that were in the flashback with Senko and in the senior flashback, along with a fourth one possibly hiding behind there. We'll get to it when we get another situation with him. And it seems like there's another guy on there that's from Hawaii because of the necklace around him. At least that's what Pie Jams said to me. So yeah, now granted we have seen these characters before, but at the same time, can we just get names? Like, it's not much to ask. Can we just get names for these characters so that we at least have an idea of who they are? Because what if they got lost in a crowd or something? Like, where's the scientists? Where's the engineers? We don't know what. Well, what's their name? Senku, Kazuki. No. The ones that are Sinu's colleagues. Einstein. Einstein has been dead for years. I don't know then. Like, I can just imagine that being a conversation since they don't know the name. They don't know the names. But anyway, Yuzuriya says that amazing was spread far and wide, but we can get together like this for a chat. It's like basically a good old Skype conversation. And of course, Ginru being Ginru, he has to ruin the mood by saying that, yeah, this means goodbye forever to the Morse code thing. And Kinru's just there like, really, Ginru? That's the thing you're getting emotional about. Not, oh, hi, bro, I haven't seen you in years. Like, how are you doing? Hope you're okay. Hope you're keeping well in Corn City. No, it's just like, oh, we don't have to do Morse code anymore. It's like, really, Ginru? Really? You haven't seen these people for years. And also as well, going back to that point, me and Pyjans were just waiting for Tsukasa to appear on screen and just be like, where's he? Oh, he's in Japan. Oh, that's where he went. I'm sorry, Senku. 1 minute I was turning around, just making sure that Ginru wasn't doing something stupid, and then the next minute, Sinu was gone, and just Senku there being like, Tsukasa, you had only one job to do. Now get your ass over to Japan right now because we need you for the spaceship. I could just imagine that being a conversation between Tsukasa and Senku, and Tsukasa being like, "Really, I joined the Kingdom of Science for this." Continuing on, Kawaku says, now that we're connected, the science users around the world can work together as one, as we see the screens making up like what looks like the United Nations of scientists. As Sinu says, as you may know, I, Dr. Sinu, former NASA scientist, and this is, oh, the name's Senku. Let's skip the introductions. Let's get to what we needed. Like, no, Senku. This is one time I am not letting you skip the introductions. I'm with Gen here. There we are. That complete lack of emotion and gravity, straight to business. Like, no. It's not straight to business. We need to know who these names of these scientists are that we're going to be working with, Senku. So no, you do not get this at this moment in time. But then again, I'm not a character in the series, but if I was in the series, I'd be just there, like, Senku, you are going to sit down and let these people introduce themselves. And he'd probably be like, oh, fine, if we have to do it, let's get it over with. Senior explains that the spaceship they plan to construct requires millions of components. That these will be designed by the engineers of the world. Before we see Kazuki and Chrome and Suika questioning how this is possible, because the drawing of blueprints and copying them over every time, everyone would have to send their papers across the world before everything could be discussed. And they're saying like, so far for all the papers to travel before Senku cuts them off and says, no, we're not going through the trouble of all of that. The design work's going to be done online, and everyone is just freaking out by this. And Sai brings up the obvious point of like, but I'm afraid it can't be done, not with our primitive, like, Sai, you were a coder, you're a programmer. You've dealt with primitive computers before, although not as primitive as the ones you're doing now. But that's besides the point. You've dealt with primitive computers before, so I don't know why you're getting so uptight about this. But Senko reiterates that they'll be using Epaper, not email, Epaper. Although they could have called it Senko paper, whatever. He goes on to say that this is going to be the distant ancestor of e-paper, kind of like the electronic beams that make their TV work. Now, therefore, it's going to be too a strong one. Now it's going to be a strong one and a weak one. Okay, that was kind of a mouthful to get out that statement. As we see Senko recreating something that's kind of like reminiscent of a DS, like when you draw with the DS, or kind of like with the Etch-a-Sketch. And this is something that was done back in the 60s, where they had some like some light in computer games, like the very primitive form of video games back then in the 60s. So nice touch here that they're saying the light shows up and remains whenever whenever this e-pen touches, so they can write basically anything on screen now. They can basically get all the blueprints on screen for everyone, and they can just look through the screens and be like, okay, that goes there, and there's going to be millions of components that are going to be factoring into this. So how long this will take, how many chapters this will take, I'm not gonna estimate anymore. Senko continues on by saying, by adding a metallic plate that can read the visual data, they can send their drawings to the other people on the network, kind of like the earliest CAD system that was sold to the public. And yeah, everyone on the site is getting excited by this by going like, oh, it's so obvious that this is so simple, as we get Kohaku and again basically being the black sheeps, the fish out of wars when it comes to the science talk, by going, obviously not obvious to me at all. Only the engineers on the call seem to be excited. Yeah, I found him. The other scientist that I was going to mention in a bit, but we'll get to it in a second. Senior goes on to say, this lets us share the designs we've drawn with our fellow engineers around the world in real time. It's the return of the live screen sharing, which, by the way, if you ever want to call me in the Control Chaos Discord, come and find us, and I'll be sharing my screen. We'll be doing a lot. We're doing a lot of goofing around in there and basically having a good time. So come and join us in there. Obvious plug there. But anyway, going on to the scientists, like this scientist next to the black guy, which is possibly Incorn City. It's more than likely it's. I'll put my phone down for a second. It's more than likely it's that guy that was walking with Sino and was talking about him. Now with that woman, with the woman standing beside him, I reckon it was probably. Oh no! Wait! Let me go back. Ugh. So let me go back to when the scientists came in. Oh no, my bad. Yeah, because that one. Yeah. Sorry, I thought I saw like the female scientist that was on the computer screens when we got the caption internet required. I thought she was a different character in the flashback, but no, because the one I'm looking at, this one right here, yeah, she's wearing glasses, so it can't be her. But let's see. So yeah, it's possible that 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 sci- that scientist there, the female scientist there, it's possible it's that scientist, like that one right there, right behind everyone, with the long hair right in the middle there. It's possible that that's her. Let me just quickly go through the chapter to just figure out if this is really the one. So let's have a look. Same place. So yeah. Yep, nothing else. So that's the best I can think of when it comes to those kind of things. But moving on to the end of the chapter, we see Senku constructing what looks like the going to be one of the prototypes to actually building the space the seats that are going to be on the spaceships. As they say, what's as Kawaka questions what it's all for, and they mention it's where the astronauts will sit on the trip to the moon. And again, Rhea is the understatement of the whole series. That was fast. Mobilizing the world was well worth it. Yeah, that was fast. And Inagaki, I love you, but please slow down. But anyway, Chrome says it's bad, and he's like, I want to be the first one to go into it. And he obviously tries it out, and he's like, more like bad and cramped. So yeah, he's saying bad in the way it's meant to be said at this point in time, and that it will take some time getting used to. And this is where we get the end of the chapter where we say, where we have Kaku, Chrome, and Senku reiterating that we're actually going to make it all the way to the moon in the sky. Remember, it's a round trip. Everyone's going to make it home alive. When Chrome says everyone's going to make it home alive, that might indicate that there were more people going to go to the moon, because if it was meant to be 3 people, then he probably would say, remember, it's round trip. Remember, it's round trip. Whichever 3 go, they've got to make it back alive. He probably would have said more like that, but no, he says everyone. That to me indicates that there's going to be more people, and we've had references in the past chapters, like with Kohaka being referenced. We had that title page with Suika and Chrome on the last chapter, so who knows who will be still going. And this is where we get Senku reiterating that, yeah, at long last, it's the final boss battle against Y-Man. We better select our team of astronauts and start training for outer space travel. So yeah, we're getting the training arc, we're getting the main training arc, and of course, Ryusui being Ryusui is like one of those seats is as good as mine. As we see a nice touch, the helmet on the spacesuit is called Senko 11, reference to Apollo 11, but also the spacesuit has guns on them. Now, this is probably Ryusui imagining like, yeah, I'm going to leave the swords behind, but I want badass guns on the moon. I don't know why, I just want badass guns. Now, so yeah, this was something I called that this was actually going to happen, because you can't just go to space without actually having some space training and knowing what to do when you're actually up there, because if you don't know what to do up there, you are completely screwed. Now as well, they've got to build the spacesuits and also get to building the actual rocket itself by actually getting everything from around the world back to Japan, and then get to Treasure Island. So yeah, my question is, who is actually going to go? Because it's been hinted that at least 3 of them are going to go, like Senku, Ryusui, and Tsukasa. But if we're actually getting 5 parts, and they're going to be all, and they might actually all be launched separately before connecting in space, then we might actually get other people going into space and actually docking with the spaceship. So kind of like a Megazord. So you have, because in Power Rangers, some of the times they'll have separate cockpits for the individual swords before they actually combine and form into the Megazord. So maybe that will be something that will be happening. So if that's the case, we're going to have 3 pilots for each of these 5 ones, and that's 15 characters that are actually going to go to the moon. Now, which 15 characters that is going to be, we're not sure. Me and Polytrans pretty much on agreement that it has to be Taiju, Senko, and Yuzuriya as one of the 3s, because of the reference at the beginning of the series to them, their dolls actually being in space and flying in space, and it'll be very poetic if the actual characters were in space to kind of represent that. And we got a flashback to that moment as well. Suika, Chrome, obviously, we need the 2 rookie scientists. Now, the question is which pilots are going to be piloting. So we've got like Ukyo, Ryusui, possibly Stanley. So whoever is going to go, like, I actually want your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you think is actually going to be, if they're actually going to have the 5 components actually blast off separately? Which 15 characters are actually going to go into space? Let me know what you guys think about that. And yeah, pretty awesome chapter, just getting everything built, everything set up for next chapter of obviously find out who's actually going to go to space. It might take more than a second chapter, because remember, they still need to get Tsukasa back from South America, and possibly leave Ginru and like and Matsukaze there in charge, even though they were supposed to be watching and keeping an eye on Sinu. And I would love it if there was a funny interaction. Like, really, Tsukasa, you had one job to look out for Sinu, and you blew it. And yeah. I'm just waiting for that. I'm just waiting for that moment. I'm waiting for the moment where Tsukasa reunites with Mirai, because she hasn't seen her brother in like 10 years. Like, pretty much close to 10 years now. And yeah, we need to see her again to get kind of like a timeline on this and figure out how much bigger is Mirai, or if she actually has grown at all. But that's a side tangent that will probably come into play later on. Who knows? I don't know. I certainly don't know. But yeah, I want you to list who you think is actually going to be the 15 characters. If we're actually going to go down that route of getting 15 characters going up into the moon and back. So yeah, let me know. And what did you guys think of this chapter? Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.